What if one ordinary night turned into your worst nightmare? She was on the verge of everything she'd ever wanted, until flashing lights, raised voices, and the cold grip of suspicion shattered it all. "Hey, girl in the hoodie. Hands up." In that instant, her future vanished beneath the weight of fear and confusion. Was it a mistake? Or something far more dangerous? When the system turns on you, who will believe your truth? Who will fight for you when no one's listening? Don't blink. Don't turn away. Her fight is just beginning, and you won't want to miss what comes next. Ivy Quinn had her future mapped out to the hour. At just 18, she wasn't just another honor student at Benjamin Banneker High, she was the student. Top of her class, captain of the debate team, and the newest recipient of the prestigious Howard University scholarship. Just last week, she'd received her acceptance into the CIA's High Potential Outreach Program, an elite path for the nation's brightest to one day shape the future of national security. Her dreams were sharp, ambitious, and within reach. That night, Ivy stepped off bus 7 with a spring in her step, her hoodie pulled tight against the chilly DC evening. Brightwood buzzed with life as always, street vendors closing up, the scent of fried food lingering, music bleeding from passing cars. She was texting her mom, planning their little celebration, pizza, maybe some ice cream. "Mom, almost home. Let's get that caramel swirl." The sun had long dipped below the skyline, and the streetlights flickered in and out like a warning. Ivy glanced over her shoulder, nothing but the usual crowd. Still, her gut tightened. A shadow shifted across the alley. Footsteps. Her pace quickened. Then, chaos. A deafening crash echoed from a nearby convenience store, followed by the high-pitched wail of an alarm. Red and blue lights split the darkness. Sirens howled. A patrol car skidded to a stop, tires screeching, flooding the sidewalk with light. Ivy shielded her eyes, heart hammering. "Hey! Girl in the hoodie. Hands up. Now." Ivy froze, confusion gripping her tighter than fear. "Me?" She turned slowly, hands raised, squinting into the blinding headlights. I didn't, what's going on?" Her voice cracked. Two officers emerged, one tall and lean, the other stocky, eyes narrowed, hands hovering over their holstered weapons. "Don't move," the stocky one barked. His name tag read O'Donnell. "I'm just going home," Ivy stammered. "I didn't do anything, I swear." O'Donnell didn't listen. Neither did his partner, Mars 10, who circled her like a wolf scenting blood. Ivy's breath caught in her throat as O'Donnell lunged forward, yanking her bag off her shoulder. "Hey! That's mine. You can't." He didn't care. He ripped the zipper open and pulled out her CIA badge, holding it up to the flashing lights. Silence. Even the chaos of the scene seemed to pause. O'Donnell turned the badge over in his hand, lips curling. "What the hell is this supposed to be?" he sneered. "That's real. I'm part of a training program, I didn't do anything." O'Donnell chuckled, low and sharp, like he was mocking the air she breathed. "You think this is some damn movie? You print this off in your bedroom. Cute. It's not fake. Please, I can explore." Before she could finish, Mars 10 had twisted her arms behind her back, the cold snap of metal cuffs biting into her wrists. "You're under arrest. Let's see how funny your little spy games are downtown." The door of the patrol car slammed shut behind her, sealing her fate in steel and silence. The precinct smelled like bleach and stale sweat. Ivy sat hunched in a metal chair bolted to the cold, tiled floor of the interrogation room. Her hoodie was gone, confiscated. Her wrists burned from the cuffs that had only recently been removed. The room was sterile, but the air pressed down on her, thick with judgment. The door creaked open, and O'Donnell swaggered in, tossing her CIA badge onto the metal table with a loud thud. The sound echoed like a gunshot. "So," he drawled, leaning in, eyes gleaming with disdain, "you think you're some kind of secret agent now? Playing dress up?" Ivy's throat was dry. Her voice came out barely above a whisper. "I told you. I'm part of a training program. That badge is real." O'Donnell's lip curled into a smirk. "You're not getting out of this, sweetheart. Doesn't matter how many fake IDs you print. We've seen your type before." She tried to steady her breath, but the panic was rising fast. She hadn't called her mom. They wouldn't even let her use the phone. "Please? I have the right to a phone call. You have to let me call my mom." O'Donnell just shook his head, chuckling like it was a joke. He opened the door and barked something to Mars 10, who entered a moment later holding a clipboard and a pair of latex gloves. "Let's do this," Mars 10 muttered. They pulled her to her feet roughly, searched her again, rough hands, invasive, no explanations, and shoved her back into the chair, arms bound behind her with a nylon strap this time. Ivy blinked back tears. The cold metal of the chair seeped through her jeans, and she clenched her jaw to stop from shaking. Every second felt like an hour. Then, finally, voices. A woman shouting in the hallway. The door burst open. "Where is she? Where is my daughter?" Dana Quinn stormed into the room like a thunderclap, her face tight with fury, eyes locked on Ivy. Behind her was a tall man in a navy suit, glasses low on his nose, Clean, the family lawyer. "Mom," Ivy gasped, the dam inside her breaking. Dana took one look at her daughter, bruised wrists, pale face, eyes wide with terror, and spun on O'Donnell. "What the hell have you done to her? She's an honor student. She hasn't done a damn thing wrong." Clean stepped forward, voice calm, but laced with steel. "We want her released. Now. You've detained a minor without cause and denied her legal counsel." O'Donnell didn't flinch. His expression stayed cool, almost amused. "Not so fast. We've got a witness who puts your daughter at the scene of a robbery. She's not going anywhere." Ivy shook her head violently, voice cracking. "That's not true. I didn't even go near that store." Who's saying this?" Mars 10 leaned against the door frame, arms crossed, eyes gleaming with menace. "We've got evidence. That's all you need to know." Dana's hands clenched into fists. "You're lying. I'm not letting you destroy her life over some bogus claim." O'Donnell stepped closer, lowering his voice, but never dropping the smirk. "You might want to get comfortable. This one's not walking out of here tonight." Ivy's heart pounded like a drumbeat in her ears. Somewhere deep down, she realized this wasn't just a misunderstanding. It was something bigger, darker, and she was trapped inside it. The courtroom felt colder than the interrogation room. Ivy sat at the defendant's table, hands clenched in her lap, heart pounding like a war drum. Her orange jumpsuit itched, but the worst part wasn't the fabric, it was the eyes. Dozens of them. Staring. Judging. Across the aisle, Prosecutor Branson stood, sharp in a charcoal suit, voice slicing through the silence like a scalpel. "Ladies and gentlemen, the defendant is a bright young woman, smart enough to create a flawless fake CIA badge, and almost smart enough to get away with it." Ivy's breath caught. She didn't just try to deceive the police. She impersonated a federal agent. That badge. Fraudulent. Her story. A lie. This isn't ambition. It's criminal manipulation. The jury didn't flinch. Neither did the judge. Ivy looked at Clean, who gave her a reassuring nod, but his jaw was tight. He knew the odds were stacked. Branson turned toward the witness stand. "I call Travis Brown." A man in a rumpled jacket swaggered forward, eyes darting between Ivy and the jury. He took the stand with the ease of someone too comfortable in chaos. "Do you recognize the defendant?" Branson asked. Travis grinned. "Yeah. I saw her running out of the store right after the alarm went off. Hoodie up." She looked scared. Ivy shot up, voice trembling but loud. "That's a lie. I wasn't even near the store." Judge Hamilton banged his gavel. "Order. Miss Quinn, sit down." Quinn stood, calm but forceful. "Your Honor, this witness has a documented history of perjury. Multiple counts. We object to his testimony." Branson didn't blink. "Irrelevant. He's not on trial." "She is." The judge nodded. "Objection overruled. Continue." Ivy felt the floor tilt beneath her. Her throat tightened, tears burning behind her eyes, not from fear, but fury. "Where is the CIA? Why aren't they here?" She looked around, desperate for a familiar face. Nothing. Silence. Judge Hamilton's voice boomed. "Due to the severity of the charges and potential flight risk, the court denies bail. The defendant will remain in custody until trial." It was like being buried alive. That night, back in the holding cell, Ivy sat alone, staring at the wall, trying not to break. Then, footsteps. A woman approached, late 30s, badge glinting under the dim light. She was black, like Ivy. Her voice was low, urgent. "I'm Detective Morgan. I've seen what they are doing to you." Ivy looked up, wary. "Are you here to charge me with something else?" Morgan shook her head. "No. I believe you. O'Donnell and Marsden have a history, bad arrests, forced confessions, targeting kids like you. I've been trying to build a case. Your situation. It might be the key." Ivy's breath caught. "So what? You're just gonna help me? Why?" Morgan's eyes softened. "Because I've been you. And because this isn't justice. I'm going to dig. I'll find out what they are hiding." In the dark, Ivy felt something she hadn't in days, a flicker of hope. But Morgan's voice was grim. "Travis Brown isn't just lying. He's being paid to lie. And your file. It's been tampered with." Ivy's blood ran cold. "They are trying to bury me." Morgan nodded. "Not if I can stop them." Days blurred into nights inside that jail. Ivy's world had shrunk to concrete walls, cold meals, and the weight of disbelief pressing down like a stone. Even Detective Morgan's quiet promises felt distant. Hope was fading fast. Then the door slammed open. Two agents stepped inside the interrogation room. One was tall, with sharp eyes and an air of authority that sucked the oxygen from the room. She walked with purpose, a folder in her hand, her heels echoing against the floor. "Miss Harrington." Ivy sat up straight, barely daring to breathe. Without a word, Harrington tossed a file onto the table. It slid across the metal surface and landed in front of O'Donnell with a heavy thud. Her voice cut through the silence like ice. "Her ID is real. Ivy Quinn is part of a classified training program under the CIA's High Potential Outreach Initiative. Your department has committed a serious breach." The room froze. Marsden shifted uncomfortably. Branson, the prosecutor, paled. This can't be right," he stammered, eyes darting to O'Donnell. "We were told." Harrington's gaze was sharp enough to draw blood. "You were told wrong. And now, there will be consequences." In court the next morning, the air crackled with tension. Ivy stood, flanked by Quinn and Harrington. The courtroom, once hostile, now felt like a powder keg waiting to explode. Quinn rose from his seat, calm but deadly. "Your Honor, we call Detective Morgan to the stand." Morgan stepped up, her badge gleaming under the lights. Her testimony was precise, every word like a nail in the coffin. "Officers O'Donnell and Marsden have a documented history of wrongful arrests. I obtained financial records showing payments made to Travis Brown. He was paid to lie, to frame Ivy Quinn." Gasps rippled through the courtroom. Branson stood, red-faced. "Objection, this is..." Judge Hamilton raised a hand. "Sit down, Mr. Branson." Quinn turned to Travis Brown, now sweating, eyes darting like a trapped animal. "Mr. Brown, do you deny receiving payment from Officer Marsden?" Travis hesitated. Then? He crumbled. All right. Yeah, I got paid. They said she was just some kid, and I needed the money. They told me what to say." The room exploded. Voices shouted, chairs scraped, cameras flashed. Ivy stood frozen, heart racing, as the judge slammed his gavel. "Enough. All charges against Ivy Quinn are dismissed. This case is over." Cheers erupted. Reporters sprinted out the doors. Ivy felt her knees buckle, but Quinn caught her, steadying her. She was free. As O'Donnell and Marsden were led away for questioning, Ivy locked eyes with them one last time. No words. Just the truth, undeniable and unbreakable. She had won. Freedom was only the beginning. A week after her name was cleared, Ivy Quinn stood in front of City Hall, microphones clustered around her like bees to honey. Reporters shouted over one another, camera flashes illuminating her face, but she didn't flinch. "I'm suing the DC Police Department for wrongful arrest, abuse of power, and emotional trauma," she declared, voice steady, eyes fierce. "What happened to me can't happen to anyone else. Ever." That single statement ignited a firestorm. Headlines screamed her name. "Teen spy trainee fights back. Justice for Ivy Quinn. Student versus system." Social media exploded, dubbing her the Justice Warrior student. Protests erupted in front of the police precinct. Civil rights groups rallied behind her. The city government felt the pressure, and it cracked. Under public scrutiny, DC settled the lawsuit quietly, but expensively. Millions were paid out, not just to Ivy, but to others who had suffered under the same corrupt system. For some, it was the first acknowledgement that their pain was real. But Ivy wasn't done. Detective Morgan's evidence reached federal investigators. O'Donnell and Marsden were arrested at dawn, cuffed and marched out in front of cameras. This time, there was no swagger, no sneer, just fear. The charges were damning: fabricating evidence, bribing witnesses, obstruction of justice, abuse of power. And the rot ran deeper. Files revealed a network of corruption, quotas that encouraged wrongful arrests, falsified reports, planted evidence. Dozens of officers implicated. The department was gutted. Internal Affairs launched a full-blown purge. One by one, cases once considered closed were reopened. Men and women who had spent years behind bars walked free, some after a decade. Ivy met them. Shook their hands. Listened to their stories. "They almost broke me," one man told her, tears in his eyes. "But you broke them first." The fight wasn't easy. But Ivy didn't care. She wasn't afraid anymore. She had seen the truth, and she had made the truth impossible to ignore. The lecture hall at Howard University buzzed with energy. Ivy Quinn sat near the front, notebook open, eyes focused, but her mind sharp and constantly scanning, always thinking, always questioning. Her journey here hadn't been smooth. It had been a battlefield. But she'd earned her place in every room she now walked into. She was officially part of the CIA's High Potential Outreach Program again, this time, with her name cleared, her status undisputed. The badge that once got her arrested was now a symbol of resilience. Of truth. After class, she met Miss Harrington in the agency's off-campus training center. The woman, always poised, always unreadable, regarded Ivy with something close to pride. "You've started something, Ivy." A wave. "People are watching you, not just here, but across the country." Ivy nodded, her voice steady. "Then I won't stop. What happened to me happens to others every day. I'm going to fight for them, too." Harrington's eyes narrowed, impressed. "Good. Just remember, when you stand for justice, the world doesn't always clap. Sometimes, it pushes back harder." "Let it," Ivy said simply. "I'm not afraid anymore." As the sun set over Washington, D.C., Ivy walked through campus, backpack slung over her shoulder, phone buzzing with updates, cases overturned, reforms in progress. Her fight had sparked something real. She paused, looking out at the city. The same streets that had nearly broken her now lay ahead like a challenge. A promise. Justice wasn't a given. It was something you took back. Justice doesn't come naturally. It only exists when we stand up and demand it. And Ivy Quinn. She was just getting started. She stepped into the world, not as a victim, but as a force. Stronger than ever.